my friends, Simon Miller from WhatCulture here, and as you may have seen recently, Cesaro has left the WWE. And just to make it very clear, WWE didn't fire him and Cesaro didn't quit. His contract came to an end, they couldn't come to an agreement, so Cesaro packed his bags and went home. Because why the hell would he have hung around? Now, rumours have suggested that potentially this wasn't his first choice and he would have been happy to have stayed if they could come to an arrangement. But because he didn't, it now means Cesaro could possibly maybe turn up on AEW Dynamite this Wednesday. Why? Here's why. I mean, it is nice and simple, although I do understand the confusion, the now fabled 90-day release clause. But this is how that works. When a wrestler does get fired or released from WWE, they are still employed technically for the next 3 months. So they can't go work anywhere else, but they do keep getting paid. But that's not happened with Cesaro. He didn't get released and he didn't quit. His contract came to an end. And as soon as that does happen, if you can't come to an agreement, you can actually go and do whatever you want. So if he wants to go be a bee farmer, he can go and be. If we do get to Wednesday and Tony Khan wants Cesaro, or Claudio Castagnoli, which is his real name, to be on his Dynamite show, he certainly can. And the timing of this would be absolutely nuts because, of course, on Sunday, we have the AEW Revolution pay-per-view. I mean, can you imagine if he did debut on Wednesday, had a random qualifying match for the Face of the Revolution ladder match, and he got in the thing? And he doesn't have to take anybody else's spot, just add an extra person into that damn thing. I mean, who the fuck is gonna get mad at that? And there will be somebody, because there always is in the comments right now, going, I can't believe this is Cesaro, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to talk about it. But the cool thing about doing a ladder match as your debut is that you can't really lose. Like, you don't win because you have to climb up a ladder and grab a massive Sonic ring, but nobody actually gets defeated. Everyone else is basically in second place. And as we have just said that, do not let the irony of Cesaro climbing a ladder and grabbing a kind of brass ring escape you by. And if it has, just go back in time and watch Vince McMahon, of all people, on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast get to where they talk about Cesaro, and everything will start to make sense. Don't forget this also applies to the likes of Impact Wrestling and New Japan Strong. And when it comes to the former, I think there could be something there, because Impact right now is a very good show, and if you're not watching it, you should, but I guess you could argue it lacks some recognizable names. And given that Cesaro was in WWE for 10 years, he signed in 2011, if you saw his name on a billboard or a poster on their Twitter, you may go, well, I recognize Cesaro, maybe I should go and watch Impact. I mean, if he became the world champion, I think numbers would go up. He was also underutilized in the WWE, and that's why a lot of people love him. So if all of a sudden he becomes the focal point of a different promotion, well, once again, everything just comes together. Also, watch this. Just watch this 1 second. Bear with me. Let's say he does turn up on Dynamite. He does become an AE wrestler. All of a sudden, we could have this. Cesaro versus Hangman Adam Page. Cesaro versus Kenny Omega. Cesaro versus Darby Allin. Cesaro versus Sting. Cesaro versus MJF. Cesaro versus CM Punk. Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson. Again. And I will leave it there because I'm boring myself, but there are 10 matches that I would pay to see. But there's also an 11th, which is crazy interesting. Cesaro versus Eddie Kingston. Now, who knows what is true and what is not true, but there has been a long-standing rumor that apparently Cesaro and Eddie Kingston fell out ages ago. And Eddie certainly poured some fuel onto this fire, because as soon as the Cesaro news broke, he tweeted, all I'm going to say is that he doesn't have the balls to come to AEW. Like, if he did turn up, Eddie would jump him. So here's what I would do. I would get that story out into the mainstream, or as much out there as I possibly could. I would ensure that Cesaro and Eddie Kingston were now friends, and they could hug and make up. Now I'd start that feud. It would also probably come after the program Eddie Kingston is currently in versus Chris Jericho. What a crazy universe we're now living in. Because it would mean that Eddie Kingston went from one former WWE superstar to another former WWE superstar. That just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum because we never saw it coming. Do not forget either, there's every chance that Cesaro does go back to the WWE. Maybe McMahon wakes up one day and goes, oh no, wait, Cesaro is worth everything he was asking for. But doesn't that really sum up their entire relationship? Vinnie Mac has never really seen it. And that's fine, that's totally fine. It's Vince's company and he should be making these kind of business decisions. I just think it's the incorrect one because Cesaro is so damn good in the ring. I mean, he could have a match with a rubber duck and I would somehow find a way to enjoy it. And he's just so talented in between those ropes and has one of the best hot tags in the entire business, don't at me. And as ever, straight away, the whole AEW has hired too many wrestlers brigade is out, but I'm so bored of talking about these people because once again, why can't we just celebrate the fact that if you are a professional wrestler and you don't have a job, another employer is happy to employ you? I mean, it would be great if every single person could get on TV, and I'm sure AEW can sort that out eventually, but it makes me much more pleased knowing, that person is getting paid to do what they love. So that's nice, and I like nice, and also make sure that you set your DVRs for Wednesday's AEW Dynamite, because not only could Cesaro turn up, but Tony Khan is also saying he has a historic announcement. And at the moment, as I stand here and I ponder using my bald head, I don't know what a flub that could be. I mean, some people have said some kind of super show between AEW, New Japan, and Impact. Some people have even said maybe he's going to announce a streaming service and that he has bought the tape library for Ring of Honor. Hell, maybe he has just bought Ring of Honor, but this is why I'm excited about this week. And if you thought there was going to be no more news, think again. Now, please do leave a comment below and let us know what you think about all of this. What do you think about Cesaro and AEW? What do you think the historic announcement is? And do you think potentially the Swiss Superman should go somewhere else? Then like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head on to WhatCulture.com where you can read articles such as this one. Make sure you follow us on social media. And we have loads of video about this, and we'll have a load more. Pick one and watch it. My name is Simon for WhatCulture. Thank you for joining me as always. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your effort, because you got to take your finger and you got to click a button. And I'm going to stand on the fence, whatever the thing is. Cesaro should go to AEW, mostly because now, after I've envisioned it, I just want to see Cesaro versus Eddie Kingston. We have done a ton of videos about that feud because we can't help themselves, so we cross our fingers and we wait and see. Goodbye. Hello everybody, welcome to Kayfabe News, the revolutionary leader in sports entertainment news. Please hit the subscribe button, otherwise I'll block you on Twitter. Tonight's top story. While enjoying an episode of WWE Monday Night Raw on the television in a local bar, wrestling fan Terry Darby was shocked and distraught when a fellow bar goer revealed that professional wrestling is a fake sport. My whole life, I believed wrestling was a legitimate sporting competition, said Darby, 44, but now I'm not so sure since a random guy at the bar made a snide comment on his way to the bathroom. The clever stranger, who was at the Game Day Sports Pub to watch football on a different television, described professional wrestling as, and I quote, a soap opera for men. Absolutely devastated, Darby spent the rest of his evening looking back at his years of watching wrestling, kicking himself for failing to see that it is, according to the guy at the bar, so phony. I mean, look at those punches, they're barely touching each other, said the man loud enough to be heard by everybody else in this establishment. He went on to say that the ring is big like a trampoline. Having established his intellectual superiority over wrestling fans at the bar, the man then spent 4 hours getting drunk, yelling at a screen, while two teams moved an oval ball back and forth on a large lawn. Before accepting this tragic news, Darby attempted to grab another nearby patron and powerbomb him through a table, but was very concerned when he realized unless this individual jumped and hurled their body upwards or assisted him with the move, there was no way that it could possibly be done. And when asked for comment, Terry's family told Kayfabe News that he's currently watching tapes from New Japan to look for even a hint of evidence that this is a ruse, especially because those guys spend most of their time dropping each other on their heads. We shall update you with more when we have it, and if this has affected you in any way, remember, you can always go get in touch with somebody that's not us. We certainly do not want to hear from you, and I repeat, do not come to the studio. Do not come to the studio. We're not here to help. With that said, please do help us by liking the video, sharing the video, and subscribing to the channel. If you want to leave a comment below saying how mad you are that you got duped by another video from us, please be our guest. My name is Flipping Marks, and I will talk to you again soon against my better judgment.